The primary focus that we have right now is large-scale art for commercial, architectural, and for public space. So the inspiration for Marcus and I to get ourselves a space to build things came from experience in public art. So we were working together on a number of different art projects over a few years previous to having a space and a shop. Moving from there, there was a point where for the Panhandle Bandshell project that we had about 12,000 square feet donated to the project. That gave us a really sweet taste of what it was to be able to have capacity to make large-scale beautiful works. I had the idea of let's get a small space, and I was thinking relatively small at that particular point. But the opportunity to purchase a scenic shop, which was under the name of Scene 2 in our current main location, came about, and that was well beyond what we dreamed would have been our shtick or what would have been the direction we would have taken. But with my knowledge coming from a long-term building background, as well as being raised by artisans who taught me very well about just the confines of what it is to execute craft, as well as Marcus coming from a fair amount of building background, but primarily production background. Kind of lent itself very well to our skill sets being able to work into set building primarily. So what it ended up being is that we came in with some of our own clientele to build large works of art, and we also had to keep the bills paid. So for a few years, we ended up doing a lot of more temporary scenic work, which is also deeply creative and exciting and challenging and fast-paced. And we built that business up back from the ground up, honestly. From 2008 was the crash in which we purchased. So we really got it back into a functioning business. And then over the course of the next few years, that scenic world expanded into events and events also meant semi-permanent and actual permanent at times, and going from experiential environments to actual experiential installations, large scale, if you will. So over the course of that learning and building our crew from really 3 of us to 12 and then stepping it again to 20, over, I guess, starting in about 5 years ago, we started truly executing the pivot back into public arts, more permanent pieces and so on, utilizing a lot of the skill set and frankly hustle that we learned over the years of being in more production style work. Our team changed some more, and some folks have been with us for over a decade now and have been learning with us on how to execute large-scale works of art into more and more lofty environments and so on. And so really, it started with the inspiration of what we are actually doing now, and it took us a good number of years to get back to the original inspiration. So at this point, One Hat One Hand is functioning as an art fabricator and also an artist in and of itself, along with making actual large-scale works for members of our team as well. So that's a bit of the origin of where we started to where we have landed now, where the people knocking on our door are asking us to do exactly what 14 years ago we got in the business and got into a large-scale space in order to do. Oftentimes, what an architect or even One Hat One Hand might envision for a public space or a private semi-public space is not really the traditional building business and community is not interested in doing a lot of the things that we accomplish. So we're really happy to actually fill that niche for the commercial space of providing those more theming style works, those more creative works for an architectural environment. We ultimately take on a fair amount of the burden of complication between various mediums of fabrication and so on. One of the ways that we are unique is our multimedia capacity, right? So because we also have a 7,000 square foot metal shop with exceptional ability to weld stainless, aluminum, or mild steel, machining, turning, rolling, et cetera, et cetera. So we can do nearly anything with metal fabrication, but that's only a portion of our work because most of our fabrication space is devoted to what we call the wood shop, but that's where wood and plastics and other medias integrate and can also integrate with the steel work. So one of the ways we are unique is that we have this under one roof most of the methods of fabrication out there, including even casting and digital fabrication, are here. And what we find is that oftentimes a project plan might be coming in place where you have a sub who's doing metal and a sub that's doing the finish on top of that and a sub that's doing that. And when they can actually integrate, we found that we've been able to save exceptional amounts of work for the end result because we can speak the language of the metal and we can speak the language of the wood that's going on it and speak the language of even the engineering that has to take place. And so that actual that in-house understanding of a multitude of mediums at times has really has given us an edge of efficiency. The other element of our unique offering is essentially design assist. So for the most part, when architects deal with a fabrication shop, they are expected to hand over the drawings of do exactly this. And one of our prides and our pleasures, frankly, is being able to be involved well higher up the chain. Rather than being the fabrication shop that just tell me what it is and I'll do it, or I'll tell you I can't and you have to go back to the drawing board, we go back to the drawing board. We end up getting to drive the creative in a way that is most feasible for the end result. I do believe that in the world of both architecture and design, we've saved a lot of effort for our clients on a lot of that potential back and forth. What I'm seeing in the industry of those that create space for human beings to enjoy together is that the requirements for the experience of it are growing in a very good way. What you'll notice is a very subtle, real way is that the art piece at the center of Town Square is actually a symbol of their community. And it honestly will spark numerous discussions between many strangers. I see at the very least the next couple years expanding the architectural world, the architectural design to fabrication to installation world. The venues that we're working in now are ground up, and so we've actually had the unique opportunity to be able to contribute to the infrastructure so that it can accommodate the pieces that need to be the finishing touches. The other area of growth that's been equally, if not more so exciting, have been the large-scale sculptural works. What we're seeing is this movement within both the commercial and public spaces that the experience of the built environment needs to have an element of artistic enjoyment and experience for those within it. We see this expanding, and that alone excites our possibilities of contribution to it. And every opportunity that we get to bring more meaning and deep experience of a public or shared space is exciting to us.